There's 4 main signals that we manifest with daily, all day long in different aspects. And the one is our emotions. And then the emotions, the next signal is where do you feel those emotions in your body? The next signal is how's this affecting your behaviors? And the next signal is perspective. How's this shifting your perspective? So it would be better for me to say to you, okay, you're feeling anxious. Let's talk about now what's going on in your life, logical, okay? Now let's talk about specifically, what are your feelings at this moment, in this time, right now, at this moment? Where are you feeling it in your body? Where are you, how is this affecting your behaviors? What is this doing with your perspectives? Okay, now let's reflect on that. And think of reflection. If you look in a mirror, you get a reflection. If you shine a light through a prism, it'll come out as a rainbow. Reflect means I'm now going to start looking for the depth behind this. So I'm going to find what is this attached to. Because if I just say anxious, sore tummy, lousy life for perspective, and I'm irritable. Those are my 4 signals. That is a bunch of descriptions. It's not a disease. We've got to be careful of tautologies. It's telling us, those are descriptions of
information.
Something.
Yeah,
it's information. Exactly. So what is it attached to? Let's find what it's attached to. So now we've got to start digging. What is the thought that it's attached to? And a thought is an experience made up of memories. So there's obviously a thought, there's something going on, something's happened. And your non-conscious mind, which is your deepest level of your mind, which is your wisdom, it's infinitely huge and present, past, and future all mixed at once. It's so fast, it's faster than 400 billion actions per second, operates 24/7. It's where everything that we need is stored, and we need to tap into that more. You can talk about it as your spirit level, your whatever you want. Scientifically, we talk about it as the non-conscious. That will, if you start looking at how you're showing up with your signals, you can start tapping into the thought that it's attached to. And when you find the thought, you can then start tracking a thought down. And thoughts look like trees. I mean, I've got some trees over here, and we know that trees have roots. We can start looking, this will generate these signals, the emotions, the bodily sensations, the perspectives, the behaviors. We can then take those signals and we can say, okay, let's see what thought this is attached to. We can reflect and start seeing the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, the how. Then we can start digging deep and say, okay, well, let's see what else comes up with this. Mindstorm this thing. Write it down. Get it out. Then you can say, okay, well, this is the data. Now we've got the data. Let's see, what can we do about this? What's realistic? Curious questions. Reconceptualize. Then we say, okay, what can we do now, today, to get you through today? And as you do that process, that's a formula for how... That's based on 40 years of research of the formula of how stuff gets from the outside into us, into our networks. So we reverse engineer that by going from how we show up and reverse engineering back to the thought and finding the root and then reconceptualizing. So you deconstruct that thought. You deconstruct. So you've now gone from, oh, I'm anxious. And instead of saying, yes, you've got a disease of anxiety, which, well, now what? You've taken that out the equation and you've said, okay, you're anxious, let's do this work. Let's find out what's going on. Let's see what we can do. Let's empower you to now use this anxiety as information and find out where the source is and how can we reconceptualize, how can we reconstruct. That requires work. It's not a quick fix. It requires time, it requires effort, and I've done the research on the timing and whatever and how long it takes, but that's something we can do.
It's so interesting because I don't think I ever heard of ADHD until like 8 years ago. It was always ADD. Like growing up, it was like, this kid has ADD or has ADD symptoms or whatever. And it feels like there's new terminology or new diagnoses every few years of what someone has or something new that they create, whatever it is.
They create, literally, with questionnaires. It's not.
And it seems like we weren't born with ADD or ADHD or anxiety disorder. We weren't born this way.
No.
But we also can't pinpoint the exact moment that this person now has this diagnosis. Like, can you say the exact moment that the mind, the brain, the body, all of a sudden, now you're ADHD?
No.
Now you're ADD. Now you have some anxiety disorder, whatever it is. Like, is there a moment we can pinpoint?
No, you can't.
We can't. And so it's like,
no.
And so if we're diagnosing people with something, we should be able to undiagnose through a process of treating and healing the mind, right?
Exactly.
You said we are 99% mind, 1% brain and body. And it sounds to me like if our thinking and the way we think and how we perceive our thinking and how we feel about our thinking and how we behave about our thinking influences us into having a mental disorder, then we can also train the mind to influence us to healing our body, healing our brain
Exactly.
as well. Right?
Totally, you've got it. You've got it, because your mind is the driving force. It's, if you think of electromagnetics, that's what runs this whole studio. It runs the world. Electromagnetics is, we understand that in terms of technology. It's also your mind. We all literally have a field around us, and this is hardcore physics. This is not woo-woo stuff. This is hardcore science.
So what can you explain what the mind is versus the mind and the brain?
So here I've got a brain. It's not a real one.
Yes.
I mean, I should bring a real one in a bottle, shouldn't I?
You got
Okay,
it.
so here's the little model of the brain, and I think I had this one here before when we did our interview. But essentially, this is a 3-pound organ that is 3.5-pound organ that is about the size of your 2 fists. Not quite as big as this, and it's very complicated and complex, which it should be, but it's still a physical substance. So it's purely a host, because when someone dies, when their heart stops, within 20 seconds your brain flatlines and your organs shut down and your cells stop functioning. But we're alive now, and we have got an ability to make over 800,000 to 1 million cells every second. Well, you sit looking at me, we are making 800 to 1 million cells every second, and the quality of those cells, so we, being alive or making cells, I mean, that impact alone, if people just process that, we are making physical substance by being alive. Now, the quality of our interaction, the quality of how we look at life, influences the quality of those cells. Though we have 37 to 100 trillion cells in our brain and our body, those cells make our organs, which make our systems, which make our body, of which the brain is one. So every moment of every day, we are kind of redesigning our body. So that mind is doing that. Mind is this big word that we use, and it's a word that's thousands of years old, that was used by ancient wisdoms and mystics and spiritual teachers, and then it kind of evolved into spirit, soul, consciousness, and but it's this mysterious thing that's actually not at all mysterious. In neuroscience, it's often called the hard question of science. I always think that's totally wrong. I always say it's the easiest question of science, because yes, we can cut up a brain, and yes, we can look at the heart, and yes, you and I are here physically. But that's easy to see. It's just as easy to see you, Lewis, and I'm Caroline, and we're having a conversation, and we're talking, and you have a life, and you have a wife, and I have a husband and 4 kids, and that's mind. That the experiences of that's so obvious. The fact that we can get upset and happy and sad, and that's mind. And how when we feel happy and sad, that force of how we process it, how we react to situations, how someone gets in your face in a meeting and you want to punch them in the face, or you find yourself people pleasing, or you find yourself faced with a crisis and you're dealing with, that's mind. How your personality, your intelligence, how you love, that is that mind aspect, and it's a driving force. When we do a QEEG, for example, in our research, we are seeing that force going through the brain. So, for example, when we do a QEEG, yes, it's brain waves, but those brain waves are energy that are coming from the mind. So first, the mind is processing life and into like little clouds. If you think of a circle around me, imagine a circle around me and a circle around you. That's our mind field, however big it is. It's sort of in this region, and it goes through you. Like our conversation now is first being processed by the mind into like little clouds, and like droplets of water form a cloud. Every bit of detail that's coming out is forming into a cloud. That mind processes that first, and then it makes a copy of that and puts that into the brain as a neural network made of proteins and chemicals, and then that also the mind and brain together put that into the rest of the body. So memory is stored in clouds throughout your brain and your body, and you've got a world wide web. We literally have a world wide web between the cloud, the copies of the clouds as networks, and then in our brain, and then networks in our body. And so there's this whole network. So whatever I'm doing with my mind is going to manifest in the host. The brain and the body are the hosts.
So when I think something, if I imagine the mind is a cloud around me, right? Happy cloud, hopefully.
Big area with lots of clouds.
Big area with lots of clouds.
Yeah, this revolving, moving, dynamic thing.
And each little cloud within this big area are what? Thoughts, memories, moments?
Yes, it's experiences. Everything, all of that stuff is details of the experience, all the memories are the details. So it's an experience made up of details.
Is that your personality then, or is that?
Your personality is your perception of it. But the experience, like this interview, is an experience. Every word are the details of the experience. So we're forming a thought of this interview, and people that are watching are forming a thought, and all our words are the memories. So think of the thought being an experience, and think of the details of the experience being the memories. Thoughts are made of memories, experiences are made of details. The experience is the thought.
And all of those thoughts and memories that are within this kind of
Dome,
sphere
cloud,
around us, within us, through us, influences the host, which is the brain and the body.
Yeah.
Because the emotions are stored within the body as well. And the thoughts influence the emotion, but the thought also influences the brain, which is creating the feeling of the emotion as well. It's the interpretation, right?
It's the interpretation, it's the host.
So if our mind is anxious, stressed, overwhelmed, then that electromagnetic field is influencing the brain and signaling the body to feel something.
Exactly. It makes a copy. So whatever you think of it like step 1, step 2, step 3. So step 1, the experience comes in into your mind, and it's all this mind electromagnetic field cloud forms. That's the experience. And maybe it's a big ugly experience, so it's a rain cloud, and with lightning going through it, a storm cloud, and then it's a beautiful experience, so it's a beautiful fluffy pink and white cloud, whatever. So you've got those two experiences immediately, and it happens fast. This is happening at 400 billion actions per second, so it's and faster.
It's like
It's quick.
instant.
So a copy is made. So your mind processes it and then makes a copy, puts it into the brain, and the brain responds neurochemically, electromagnetically, on a quantum level, genetically, and builds that. So as energy hits physical, a network is formed, and that network looks like these trees, basically.
The tree is what?
The trees would be a thought.
Okay, so explain a thought again. What is a thought? If you can hold it up so they can see it.
So basically, the thought is are the memories, and memories are the details. So people are building a thought of this interview about whatever they've called it, mental health or whatever, and so that's the name of the thought. Everything we say is building onto these trees over here. So this
One
is,
thought.
Yes, one thought, because we're saying a lot of stuff. By the end of this conversation, we would have probably spoken about 4,000 details.
Wow.
So let's say that this tree here is the thought that's forming. The branches are all the memories. So a thought is an experience. Those are the synonym. A thought synonym would be an experience.
Experience, a memory, a moment, something you're thinking about.
The experience is the thought. The memories are the details.
Okay.
So think of an experience as the thing. And then what is the thing involving? It's a conversation. You're going to go and do handball. That's good. That's a thought. And as you, every experience, every little bit of, and that's the thought. But every bit of practice and everything around that experience are the details building into that thought.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want more inspiring clips like this, make sure to click right here to subscribe, and click right here to watch that next video that is specific to support you in your life.